Assalamualaikum, everybody. So today I'm joined with a fantastic guest. I'm super lucky to get her on this podcast. She's a stand-up comedian, social media personnel, satirist, however you pronounce that word,
That's how you say it,
satirist.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
YouTuber, new vegan, college student, college student.
No.
All right, done with college. Past that chapter. We got our sister Nadirah Pierre. How are you doing, sister?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
I can't complain. I'm super hyped because I found your Instagram like a year and a half ago,
Hmm.
right? It was so funny. Like even like sometimes my family and I'll just sit down and I'll show them something. We're just cracking up. Like, man, I can't wait till she like really blows up. It's super
Thank
good,
you.
man.
Thank you. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. So I mean, first of all, you you're from New Jersey, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm from New Jersey. What part are you from? I'm a little bit familiar. I lived there for a really long time. So what part did you grow up in?
I grew up in Newark.
Newark.
Yeah.
Newark. That was with the airport and everything. That place, or
Yes.
oh man, there are a lot of comedians from Newark. I've
there are. There
yeah
are, and I can see why.
yeah. That's crazy. How long did you live there for?
I lived there until I was 15.
15. Okay. Are you still in New
Yeah.
Jersey?
I'm still in Jersey, but I live in another part of Jersey. I live further south now.
Okay, nice. What part?
Yeah. I live in North Brunswick.
North Brunswick. Okay, yeah, I know where that
Yeah.
is. You got the whole Brunswick, New Brunswick, North Brunswick, South, all of that.
Yeah.
I used to go to New Brunswick a lot. Is that where the ISCJ is, the mosque, the big mosque?
I believe so.
Yeah, man,
I
good
don't know.
times
I'm still
those.
learning what's around here. So it might be, it might not be.
Where'd you go to school?
um, are we talking like elementary or like the
I
whole
mean,
way through?
college.
Oh, I went to Montclair State.
Oh, Montclair State. I know where that is. That's
Yeah,
a cool place. And you went
it
to high.
is.
You went to high
Mhm.
school at what? A private school, or was it like an all Muslim high school?
I went to Muslim school up until 10th grade. And then my last 2 years, I went to Piscataway High. Before we moved to North Brunswick, I used to live in Piscataway. So I went to
Piscataway. Oh
Piscataway
man,
High.
man, I remember these names. Like I just moved from New Jersey like maybe 5, 6 years ago, and I'm
Oh,
just thinking
wow.
back like Piscataway, all these Princeton. I used to, that
Mm,
was a cool Princeton's a little bit much. It's a bit much.
it's a
You know what I
lot.
mean? Yeah, like you go there, it's like, man, I don't know if I'm in a Harry Potter scene. I don't know, like surrounded by all these super smart people.
I don't know if they think this is Harry Potter. Like, what? What is going on?
Yeah, so how was the transition though from like a all Muslim high school to, public school? Because you kind of go from your comfort zone to like
Mhm.
more of the outside. So how did that
Um,
feel?
it was really like it was a major culture shock. Like I thought, oh yeah, it's gonna be fine. I watch TV, so I know that everybody is not Muslim and everybody's not going to live like Muslims. But like when I really got there and I really saw what was going on, I was like, oh no, this is haram. Like what? What? Like the first week that I was there, because I transferred kind of late. I think they had already been in school for like a month by the time I got there. So, everybody knew each other. But the first week that I got there, I think it was like day 2 or 3. Um, like in normal high school, they have couples.
Yeah,
Where in Islamic school they do too, but it's like very hush hush.
yeah.
So I saw like a couple kiss in the hallway. And I like stepped to the side because I was like, no, somebody's about to bum rush the area. Like somebody's about to get in trouble. And it was like all the teachers saw it, everybody saw it, and everybody was just like, okay. And I was like, oh my God, you all are heathens. Ew, this is horrible. So it was more shocking than I thought it would be. It was nothing like I had imagined. But overall, I was happy to only have done it for 2 years.
Yeah. So yeah, junior, senior year. Junior year is a tough one. Junior year is a tough year. Like senior year, everybody's like whatever. But
Yeah.
going in your junior year, I can't even imagine that. That's
Yeah, by
crazy.
junior year, I was actually like, you know what? I think I'm done. I think I've experienced what I wanted to experience. I'm finished. But I was like, you know what? Let me just finish out here, and then I'm done, and I can move on with my life.
So you prefer staying at an all Muslim school I mean, for 4 years? Or do you think that maybe that
Um,
wouldn't have prepared you for college? Or like, what do you think about that?
I think by that time, Muslim schools had like advanced so much that I feel like I would have been prepared.
Yeah,
Especially with like the schools that I was going to. But I don't know why I did it. I wanted to so badly go to public school, and then by the time like my parents gave in for those last 2 years, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I think, I think
yeah.
I'm good.
It's like be careful what you wish for. You even said that on your Instagram. You're like, man, if like 85% of my like
Yes,
prayers were accepted, oh my God, that would not have been good for my
at
life.
all. As soon as I got there, I'm like, yeah, never mind. I'm okay. This is good. But they were like,
So
you're here now. You're gonna finish.
yeah, exactly. So what was the Muslim school, that all Muslim school, was that near you, or you had to go a long distance for it where you used to live?
Um, so when I lived in, funny enough, when I lived in Newark, uh, I went to schools near me, and then right before we moved to Piscataway, I was going to schools out here. So it was like I was living in Newark, but I was going to schools closer to where I live now. Um, and by the time we moved here, that's when I went to those last two public schools.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, in New Jersey, there's some places that have a big Muslim population, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, like in Edison or Plainfield, North Plainfield got a lot of Muslims, a lot of Arabs. But
Yeah.
where I'm from, right, we had no mosque anywhere near us. We would pray Jummah at like uh, at our mayor was a Muslim, right? And his basement would be like yeah, our mosque. So we would go to his basement, pray there in Ramadan every night, pray there. And it's like, man, and it's like a primarily white area for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like there'd be like little signs while you're driving down the road, kind of subliminally saying like, don't let them build a mosque over here. And man, when we just at that time we got this like little shed looking house, right,
Mm-hmm.
just for a mosque, like hopefully one day. And they just like lawsuit over lawsuit, court dates, this mailbox trash. It's like, man, give us a break, just let us just pray in
What part
peace.
of Jersey is that?
Where it's a small, where uh Morristown is,
Yeah.
around that area, around that area.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Morristown is weird.
It's weird. It's not
And
cool.
all the surrounding areas are weird. They kind of
Yeah.
like they kind of like live in their own like bubble.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Where I'm like,
Definitely.
I realize there's an other world out here, but yeah,
A whole
I
nother.
could definitely see why that's weird.
And now that I'm outside of New Jersey, New Jersey's a whole different world. Like I look back at it, I'm like, man, people are crazy in New Jersey. Just step outside. I'm in North Carolina, right? People are
Oh
nice
wow.
here.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. People, it's like that. You got
That's a
some
fun
sun.
transition.
Nah, like, we have this one place where I live. It's like, the Cary, Chapel Hill, Raleigh
Yeah.
area. And there are a lot of people from the north that go there. So it's
Yeah.
not that bad. But man, go 30 minutes away and you're in like
Doohickeysville.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Crazy. Crazy.
Wow.
But yeah. So you became vegan. Tell me
I-
about that. Tell me about that.
Um, where I did it for health reasons and just generally because like I like to give my body a break when I know that I'm doing too much. And I was doing too much. Like I was looking back and I was like, oh my God, I'm acting crazy. Um, so I've done it before. I did it last year, a 30-day vegan challenge. It's just between me and me. But yeah, I'm on day, what's today? 24
Oh, nice.
of
You made
that.
it this far?
Um, I can't wait till this is over. Last time it went so much better. It went amazing. It was so smooth. But also last time it wasn't a pandemic.
Yeah.
So, you can go out, you can eat, you can try different things. It's a lot more freedom. But now it was like very difficult, extremely difficult. I felt like this was like Ramadan 2.0. Like it's crazy. But
Yeah.
alhamdulillah, inshallah, I'll get what I need to get out of it, and then I'll be back to my chicken.
Oh, so you don't plan to extend the 30 days?
No,
No,
no.
yeah.
Once 30 days is up, 30 days is up.
I had this one of my first episodes in this podcast was with a vegan doctor, right? And
Mm,
I was like, he's like he has a pretty big name. Like he was on Joe Rogan and everything. Super cool guy, like super cool guy. I'm very
mm.
thankful I got him. But I'm sitting there, he's talking about veganism. I'm like, nah, nah, that's not it. Like I've tried to go vegan for like 2 days before, and I made it like a half a day. I'm just like, man, I want to eat like some eggs or like some chicken, but
Something, just some. That's the only thing about it is like, I'm sorry. People say, oh, yeah, you have to be creative. No matter how creative you can be, it gets boring because you don't
yeah.
have a lot of, it's only but so much you can do with a cauliflower before you're like, all right, it's still a cauliflower. Like, nothing is going to change.
Yeah, you got cauliflower.
It's so versatile. Eggs are so, turkey,
Yeah, yeah.
everything is so versatile. It's very boring. It's very boring.
And it's funny you said cauliflower because how many cauliflower products are out? You got cauliflower chips, cauliflower bread, cauliflower rice, like low
And it's
calorie.
not
I
gonna
get
work
it,
for me
but
because in general, I just don't like cauliflower.
I can't stand it. I
It's
cannot stand
it's so bland. I was like, I can just go outside and take a straw and just sip on the air. And it'll probably be more
it.
flavorful than cauliflower.
Especially with the corona, a little bit of spice to that too, right?
Oh my goodness. Yes, like a little vaccine in the air. Like, wow.
Oh man, you got to do a little Instagram bit on that now, like
Oh,
this.
I need to.
But you'll get canceled by the vegans, you know that, right?
Cancel me, please. Ban me from veganism.
Like I would go on some Facebook groups. I made a Facebook for my podcast, trying to
Mm-hmm.
like get it out there and everything. I'm being outgoing and all that now. Like look at me. But I'm on this vegan page, right? I was like, maybe I could promote it on here because I got a vegan doctor and I know the vegan group, they're ride or die. Like they'll kill for each other, they're a tight knit group. So
Oh
I
my
was like, I put it in there and I'm looking at the description on the group. It's like absolutely no discussion about flesh. I'm like, what? What is this? And they're talking about like I like veganism. Some vegans I just can't stand. I'm not even gonna lie.
Some of them are actually unstable.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. You don't personally want to eat flesh, fine. But I always have to clarify to people I am not an anti-flesh eater. Like, for
Never.
heaven's sake, I'm a Muslim. Like, we have a whole holiday where we slaughter. Like, no. I'm
Exactly.
very much so with eating flesh. It's fine with me. I'm just taking a little while off. But some of them are like, oh my God, like just meeting people who are like, yes, I support PETA. I'm like, okay, that tells me everything that I need to know. Go on your merry way. Have a good day. And I'll have.
They're like, is that a cow skin hijab? Like what did you kill to get that hijab? What about that sweater?
You're like,
It's
yeah, this is
funny.
real leather. It's like, oh my God. I'm like, okay. All right.
I never knew honey was against veganism. And I'm like, oh, animal product. That makes sense, but
I don't know what they're eating. Like some stuff I'm like, okay, even if that's no animal product, no animal byproduct, like that's actually really unhealthy. Like what is that made out of? What is that? But yeah, they're crazy. They are crazy.
So when did you start making your videos on Instagram? Because I love I'm being serious, right? There are a few channels that I got on my Instagram. I don't follow, like I don't go out of my way to follow too many people, but
Mm-hmm.
I followed that Instagram channel and it's just a blessing. I'm being
Thank
serious.
you.
It's like, they say laughter is the best medicine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So especially in this time, it's super cool. I mean, what made you start?
Thank you. Thank you. Alhamdulillah. I started in 2017. Um, and I was literally just making a video to make my friends laugh, like the few friends and family that I had following on there. I was like, oh, let me just, make something entertaining. But I think this was at the time when repost apps started coming out. So before we
Yeah.
had like screen record and all that, you could just go to another app and then it would like save the video to your phone, whatever, and you could repost it. So it was one of those crazy things where you go to sleep and then you wake up and then it's like this big thing, like this huge thing that you never even intended for it to be. So it was like I went to sleep and I woke up, and when I woke up I had like all these text messages and people were calling me like, "Oh my god, I'm seeing your video everywhere. Like people are reposting it." I'm like, "Oh, okay." But still at the same time I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. You know, a little viral." Okay, that's nice. Um but then I was like, "Okay, let me make another one." And again, my page is still private and I'm still just doing it for my friends. But then it's like, you know how it goes. Follower requests started coming in, and I was like, you know what, let me just open the page. And then one video led to another, and then we are here.
Well, I mean, I don't know how it goes. I wish I knew how it goes, but so that's overnight success right there. Overnight success.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Like, how do you feel about that?
Um, some days I still can't even believe it. Like I can't even fathom how this has happened. I'm thankful, but I still can't even believe it, and can't even believe how it's still managing to grow and to just sustain itself, really. People are always like, "Oh, what did you do to get all these followers?" I was like, I didn't do anything. Like
I
I
just
didn't
bought him. No, I'm
hashtag
playing.
nothing. Like it just happened. Like this is all God. I have no doing in this.
Yeah, that's crazy. And what point? So after you blew up a little bit, right? What
Mhm.
point were you like, man, I'm reaching people that I never would have thought I'd reach? Was it like right around then, or did it kind of hit you a little bit later?
Um, it definitely hit me later because again, I even with the followers rolling in, I still wasn't taking it very serious until I hit 10K. But I was like, that's a bit much. Like that's a lot of people. I don't even know 10,000 people. I don't think I've ever met 10,000 people. Um, so I think when I hit 10K, I was like, okay, I guess this is kind of a thing now. I guess this is what we're doing.
What kind of feedback did you get at first about your content?
Um, People were loving it, to be honest. I did have a few people that were like, "Oh my god, this is so crazy! Like this is hard," but it wasn't nearly as many people that like versus when I ratio it out. There are definitely more people that were loving and appreciating and celebrating and all of that.
You check a lot like of your DMs and everything.
At the time, yeah, because I couldn't believe that people were messaging me.
Yeah,
People have no idea who they are, and complete strangers are messaging me. So yeah,
but now it's like what, too much?
it's too much to keep up with. Before I used to stay on top of it. I used to like check DMs every day, but now it is extremely time consuming.
Yeah, I could imagine. I
Yeah,
could,
yeah.
you never just sit back. It's like, man, let me just go through this, see over the past few days, few weeks, like what people have been saying or
I
not.
try to, but then it's like I get overwhelmed because it would be different if I was getting like, you know, just a bunch of one line, two line messages, but it's like I'm getting paragraphs, I'm getting dissertations, I'm getting all types of things from people. So
Thesis, a lot of
yeah,
thesis.
like whole papers, which I appreciate, but to go through that for like 50, 60 people a day, like oof, it's a little too much.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's crazy. It must be a blessing though, like just sitting back, like, man, I'm reaching all kinds of people, making them laugh, and getting my message across too. Like it's not just like you're just saying like mindless things. Like a lot of your stuff has a real message behind it. Like the way you should talk to people, like address certain people, kind of stay in your own lane and things like that. I mean, that's big. That's respect because you're using your platform for something good. I mean, that's
Thank
why
you,
we all
thank you.
respect that.
Yeah, it is a blessing. It definitely has an upside to it. Uh, Again, these are people that like I never, prior to me going viral and all this, I never would have imagined this. Like if you would have asked me what was in my wildest dreams, I never even thought that this was possible, that this was, you know, actually a thing. So it's definitely a blessing.
What about stand-up comedy? How were you doing that as long as you were doing Instagram for, or was that something you were doing before?
Not at all. I was already doing Instagram for about a year. Like I was already a year into Instagram. Um, And people just kept saying it to me. And I was like, no, I'm not a stand-up comedian. I'm not a stand-up comedian. And then one day, I think for the first time, somebody was like, you do stand-up comedy? We're having a program in Atlanta and we actually want to like fly you out and bring you to the program. Um, so I lied. I was like, yeah, I do. I do stand-up comedy. And they flew me out and it went really well, like too well. I was like, this is kind of scary. Like, have I always been able to do that? And so once I posted about that show and people saw that I was actually like doing comedy now, they were like, oh, okay, well let's go. And I was like, all right, okay, well, I guess this is what we're doing. So I've been doing social media for 3 years and I've been doing comedy for 2.
Gotcha. And how long was your first comedy skit or
My
what do you
first
call it?
comedy that was
Performance.
15 minutes on the dot.
15 minutes for the
Yeah,
first one?
for my first one. And I wrote that show myself, but it was like I wrote it the same day as the program.
Oh man, that's
So
crazy.
I was like, wow, this is kind of scary that I can do this. Like, who am I?
How big was the audience?
um, it wasn't too big. I would say it was maybe around 100 people.
Okay, I mean that's not a small audience. I mean that's for a beginner. Like the first time ever, 100 people is it's pretty good. That
You
is
might be
pretty good.
right. You might be right.
How do you decide what you write about? Like especially for your first one, right? It's like I've never
Yeah.
done that before. Like do you decide based on where you are, what kind of people, that is in the is would be in attendance at that kind of event? I mean, what do you think?
Um. So luckily for the first one, I got to perform for Black Muslims. So I know my people. So
Yeah.
the first one was good. But writing for the first one really tailored how I write for the others. So I definitely do write for my audience. Like when I have a show, and I always ask the organizers, who is your community primarily comprised of? Um, if it's like a whole program, what other performers are you going to have? Things like that. Because I don't want to go there telling jokes for a younger demographic and it's like a bunch of older parents and things like that. So I definitely um, tailor my material to my audience, 100%.
Yeah, and that's the job of the organization too. Whoever's calling you, like they need to know, okay, she better understand 100% who's going to be in that audience because you don't want to have like uncles and aunties sitting in the sitting in the crowd and you're talking about high school and college and things like that. So,
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, this is not happening. So yeah, that's definitely important to me.
you ever had a bad night at the office stand up wise?
Absolutely. It was a show that I actually did during Ramadan.
Man.
That was my first mistake. But I think they only wanted me to perform for like 5 to 10 minutes. And I got up there and I did 2 minutes and I completely forgot everything that I had planned to say. Like I forgot everything. And I was like, you know what? I'm not about to sit up here and babble. So I was like, you guys have a good night. And everybody was like, okay. And even I got off the stage and I was like, oh my God, what happened up there? And I left.
Just dip.
I just dipped. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to my car and grab something. And I left.
Did you
I was
make
like,
like do you know what you
I'm
did wrong?
humiliating
Like
myself.
but do you know what you did wrong? Was it like a preparation mistake or just the pressure?
It was a preparation mistake. I did not all of my sets are I do have some improv in my sets. The show is maybe at the most, maybe like 50% improv, but the improv is inspired by the stuff I've already written and I practice. Like all of my sets are, for the most part, pre-rehearsed. And I did not give myself enough time, especially between fasting and everything. I did not give myself enough time to pre-rehearse.
Yeah, that's like, when I bet you probably had a few good, you know, good I mean like good reactions from the crowd in your last previous events or whatever, and you're like, man, I got this. It's
Yeah, I
like,
was like, oh yeah, it's fine. But I was like, doesn't matter how good I get. Like, I need to practice.
who's your favorite comedian?
Monique.
Who's that? I've never heard of that person before. Big person? Maybe. I mean,
Never
call me
heard of
Patrick.
Monique.
Call me Patrick Star, man. I'm living under a rock sometimes. I don't know. I know like four comedians. I thought you were gonna say one of them. Who's Monique?
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 Have
I
you
don't
ever
know who
seen
Monique.
the Parkers?
Nah,
Alrighty.
I might need to be educated right now.
Monique is she's like the comedian in my eyes, anyway. But she's a Black female comedian, and she's been around for. You've never seen the Queens of Comedy?
Man, let me search it up.
Oh my God. I cannot believe this. I have never met a person who does not know who Monique is.
Let me see Monique. Oh man, I've seen her before. Yeah, I've seen her. But I'm not even kidding though. I've actually seen her before.
Yes, that is Monique. She's my favorite.
I've never seen any of her work, but I might have to. I feel like you just missed out on the perfect opportunity to be like, who's my favorite comedian? You're talking to my favorite comedian right now.
No.
Just say, why
I
not?
am not that self-absorbed.
That would have been crazy though. I think about stand-up comedy sometimes, like when I watch it. Like my favorites like Dave Chappelle and those guys, but I watch it sometimes. I'm like, man, if let's say there's just a night of at an event of just a bunch of speeches, right? Like for example, if there's a fundraiser at a Ramadan fundraiser, right? And we're
Mhm.
sitting there for the food and everything, and like a bunch of brothers are talking, and it's like nice, but I'm not paying attention to everything they're saying. Like I bet 85% of the people are like, not paying attention to every single one of the speeches, right? But with stand-up comedy, it's like people are there to laugh, right? People are there to wait for the punchline. Everybody is just like tuning in, right? Because who's gonna zone out through a comedy special? You know, it's like, man, the pressure must be insane about that. Like,
It is. And I would be lying if I didn't say that I'm actually very happy that Corona has given me a break, because the feeling of having a good show is amazing. It's amazing. There's nothing like it. It makes it worth it. But that feeling before a show, horrible. Horrible. And I remember like when I met another comedian that I actually look up to, Moses the Comic, and I was like, what do you do like about the anxiety of it? And he was like, and mind you, he's been doing comedy well over 10 years. And he was like, the second you don't have that feeling, you should quit. And I was like, is that the only advice that you have for me? For me
oh
today? So there's nothing you can really do to get over that feeling of like, oh my God, I have to go out here and make these people are waiting for me to laugh. And that feeling really hits when, they call you out and everybody's applauding and everybody gets quiet. And they're like, okay, go ahead. And you're like, and you have about 30 seconds to get that first laugh in before you lose your audience. So yeah, pressure is crazy. The pressure is like nothing I've ever experienced in my life.
After that 30 seconds, is it gone then? Like you kind of forget about it?
No.
Still there? Throughout the whole thing?
It's there for at least, for me personally, at least 2 minutes, which feels like 3
2
lifetimes
hours, yeah.
once you're on stage. But at least 2 minutes, I'm like, oh, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? But then after, you get it rolling, you get a little bit of improv, then you're good to go.
And plus, if you can engage with the crowd a little bit, right? Like they got
Exactly.
me, I got them. Yeah. I see sometimes like I've been doing a little bit of reading about breathing, right? And how it affects our lives. And there's this coach that I follow. Like he's a martial arts coach. His name's Faraz Sahabi. He's a good Muslim guy. He's like super cool guy. He's like a wizard. He understands philosophy like nobody
Mhm.
else. Super cool. And he talks about the importance of breathing, right?
Mhm.
And breathing to calm your nerves, your emotions, to cure a lot of things. And it's not like woo woo, like, oh yeah, you could cure cancer with breathing. Like, no, it's not like that.
Yeah.
But it's like if you could control your breathing, right? Then you can control your nerves in this way. Like when you got the butterflies before the event, right? So you got the butterflies, you're talking and your breathing's a little bit weird, right? And if you could control your breath, then you could kind of control you're still gonna be nervous, but you could control the effects of being nervous a little bit, right? Clear your mind before a show. And he has like a bunch of these breathing exercises that he recommended. And like when I've tried it, right? I've tried it and it actually works really well.
Mm.
And there are a few breathing exercises, like one, like you do these weird things and it's like, this is going to clear your mind a little bit. And there's some actual science behind it. And I was like, and I'm gonna be honest, I've tried this before, and you could get high as a kite without doing drugs. Like just doing these breathing exercises, like you'll get really high. It's like crazy. It's a very weird feeling, but that might
That's
work,
actually
you
so
know?
interesting because I do breathing exercises before a show.
Yeah,
Because if not, I will pass out. Because I don't know what it is, but anytime I get nervous, like, and I won't even notice I'm doing it, and so I'm like, why is my body feeling weird? But I'll just stop breathing.
yeah, yeah,
Like as soon as like when I'm backstage and I know they're about to call my name, I'll just and I'm like, what's
exactly.
wrong with me? Like why is my heart like beating weird? I'm like so I definitely do. I definitely do breathing exercises before a show. I have to. And I also do them after a show.
Mm.
Because I've been wired and I've been like moving around on the stage, and even when I'm on the stage, like I'm not really very conscious of my breathing because I'm so focused on trying to get the job done. Um, but yeah, I definitely have breathing exercises that I do for
Do you
sure.
do you like when people are around you before
No,
you go do stand up? Yeah,
no, I
that must
need
be
like
yeah.
complete silence. I don't need you saying anything because again, I'm still practicing in my head. So it's like I could be wanting to like make a joke about eggs, but then you'll say something and then I'll get on stage and I'll be like, what was that joke about? And I'll start thinking of your words instead of mine. So no. If you try to talk to me, like my family has like seen it and we've had to have a conversation, but I'm very moody. Like I just want you to be quiet so I can just get in the mode.
Yeah, zened out completely, right?
Exactly.
Is there a joke that always gets the crowd going crazy that you have that you use a lot?
Um a joke. It's been so long. I do have a joke about I make a joke about the feds that they like plant in the masjid.
Yeah,
And I say how they never like plant one of our own. Like they plant like this like powder donut white random white person that like shows up in the middle of Jummah, and I was like, they almost seem like terrorists.
yeah.
I'm like in the middle of Jummah, like who's talking, and out of nowhere they're like takbir, and we're all like, what are you doing? What is shut up? Um, and how they always disappear like right before Ramadan.
Yeah, they can't see that. They're like, I don't want that smoke.
Yeah,
I
and
do
like
not want it.
randomly, like the second day of Eid, like they'll show up again, and you're like, what? You're not even. This is not even believable. You're not being very convincing.
Oh my God. That's like a real issue too. Like when you really think it's hilarious. And everything that you're saying is so right. It's so true. Like they got to do a better job. They really do. They have to do a better job of getting these people because they're not qualified.
They
But
have to just give it up because I'm like, they're not even. I don't know. Maybe they lost some funding for their training programs. I have no idea. But I was like, this is not even. This is not even believable. Or it's like you'll get the ones that well they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm a new Muslim, but they know too much.
yeah.
It's like new Muslims don't know about that. What are you talking about? And they're like, oh yeah, if we run out of water, it's fine. We can just make tayammum. Like, no,
Nah, you
no.
don't know that.
You see, you almost had us. You just messed up. You should have kept that one to yourself because now we know.
They gotta feed them the right food. I think that's what it is. They're not they're eating white people food. That's
They really are. They really are.
put some masala on that and everything. They don't know about that.
They need something.
So in 2020, right? Have you had a single show at all in the beginning?
I I actually did have a show in August. Alongside I don't know if you know her, Yasmin Al Hadi or
Yeah, I've
Yazgu
heard of her.
as she goes by. She had a socially distant show outdoors. Well, kind of outdoors. It was like in a barn, but it was open and it was like limited seating and everything. So I did have one show in 2020.
How'd that go?
It was interesting. It did not go as bad as I thought it was gonna go because I was like, I haven't done this in so long. I don't know how this is about to go, but it actually went better than I thought it would.
Yeah, I could imagine being like, man, what if there's not a lot of people? It's just like weird, right? Like, what if there's 15 people and 3 people laugh at the joke? Like things like that. What if they're just kind of socially distanced and the vibe about it's not there? The energy is not there.
Right. Alhamdulillah, it was a
Yeah,
good amount of people. And we did pretty well. Like
that's
all
good.
I performed, Yazguru performed, and Moses the comic performed. And it was like our sets were good. So again, better than I thought it was gonna go.
Did 2020 impact your reach at all? Like if you look at your social media or YouTube or whatever, do you see that, now that people might be on social media more, that they're tuning into your video and content more often?
Um, I have to be honest, I have no idea. I don't I don't pay much attention to the stats and everything like that. I just do what I do and then I just let people do whatever they want to do and then that's it.
I like that right there. That's a recipe to success. I like that.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna try and trick the algorithm and post every day and I don't have time for that.
Exactly. Yeah.
It'll drive you crazy and I was like, I don't have time.
Plus, I bet that you'll probably run out, like get, they call it burnout or whatever, or just like a
Yeah,
block.
exactly. And I
You
was
don't
like,
want
I
that.
don't want to because I feel like and not for everybody, because some people are very successful at it. But I feel like for my platform, if I started paying attention to that too much, it would force my work.
Mm,
And then it would become very corny. And I would just be like, ilk. And then other people would be like, ilk.
yeah,
And then the whole thing would go up in flames. So I would rather just, whatever is going to come is going to come.
that's facts. I like that right there. I like that mindset. What's your reflection of 2020 in general, the whole year? We're almost at the end. What do you think about it?
Um, One thing that I've been reflecting on so much, um, nothing is real. Like hardly anything is real. And that's not even to be like fake deep, but it was like so many things that we had been convinced was real and true and permanent and everything like that. And it's gonna sound super fake deep, but Allah is like the only thing that's real. Like everything else can literally just burst into flames randomly.
Yeah,
And nothing is real. The government told us that there were so many things that they just didn't have access to. They just couldn't give people. They just couldn't do it. And then all of a sudden, boom! Oh, hey guys, we can do it. And it's like none of this is real. None of this is real. Um, and I think I've definitely more than ever this year, I have definitely had so much time to reflect on people and my individual relationships and the various types of relationships and friendships and how to treat people and all of that. But outside of that, none of this is real.
Yeah,
All of this can change. All of this can be tampered with. And there is definitely a lot more than we even think is possible.
definitely. Definitely. And planning, and another thing is like planning in the future. Like, what is that? It's not
Ex-
real anymore.
exactly. Like people who have had and who for many years have had like an airtight plan and it's worked and it's been successful. And 2020 is like, yeah, no, none of that is real. All of
Yeah,
that, no, none of that is going down. Even myself and the year that I had planned for 2020, like so many other people, I was like, this is gonna be my year. This year, like I am going to be a comedic rock star. And then 2020 was like, no, you're not. You're gonna be at home.
and what do you think about the people? They're like, man, thank God 2020 is over. I can't wait for 2021. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Nothing is real. Like 2021,
Exactly.
I could be sitting in my room and I could watch like a dinosaur like come out of a tree, and I wouldn't even. Well, hey, I wouldn't even be surprised. Anything can happen at this point, and I would not. I would not even be surprised.
Yeah,
Nothing would surprise me at this point. Like things again that I never even considered, like a pandemic. I was like, we're never gonna have that. That's never gonna happen, and it's real. So 2021, I'm really just, I'm giving it to God. I'm like, you know what? Allah has shown me this is your world. We're just living in it. So I'm waiting to see what you're gonna do, so then I can see what I'm gonna do.
exactly. Yeah. Tie the camel and trust in God. That's what it
Exactly.
is. Do your thing, and the rest is like you have no control over that.
Exactly. Exactly.
And you even got COVID, right? You have it right now as we speak.
I do. I do. I'm currently quarantined in this room. Yesterday I was like, oh, this is gonna be amazing. I'm gonna have some time to rest. I woke up this morning, I was like, this is horrible. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get out of here.
You're asymptomatic right now, or you had strep? You thought, right?
I thought I had strep. I thought I had the flu. And now I don't feel like I have anything, but I have COVID.
Yeah, but you got
So
COVID.
there's that.
Yeah, hopefully those antibodies come through. You know what I mean? Like then you got that natural vaccination for like
Oh,
the next
I
few
mean,
months.
hopefully something. Hopefully my
Yeah,
body sends me a signal like, yeah, this is over. Maybe like in a day or two, because I'm
hopefully.
over it.
Yeah, no, I could imagine. Are you one of those people that want to be out all the time, or you're cool inside?
Um, Before I was definitely just itching to get out the house. Now I can do a good like at the most maybe like 5 days in the house, but then I just need to have one day of like I'm out the whole day. But I'll be here.
Hey guys, if you need her, she'll be in her room.
You know where to find me.
Yeah, you know where to find her. Hopefully not, but you know where to find her. But but hey, I gotta say that I really appreciate you being on this podcast. You know, it was a pleasure. Cool conversation. Super
Thank you.
cool.
Thank you. It was so much fun.
Definitely. And hey, everybody go check her out at Instagram handle. What is it?
At Nadirah.p.
Yes, and YouTube. What do you search up?
Nadirah P. Everything is Nadirah P.
All right, you guys heard it.
Some
Go follow
variation
that
of that,
Instagram.
you're going to find me.
Yeah, very creative right there. So everybody go follow her. I promise you, you're not gonna regret it. It's gonna be super cool. It's gonna be one of those people that you just keep in your followers in your following list. You know, it's amazing to see. And go support our sister. You know what it is. Hit my like button too. Subscribe to my channel too. If you're watching this, you're not subscribed. What are you doing? And that's about it. So I appreciate you again. You're gonna stick by a little bit after I finish the recording.
I
And
am.
assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Assalamualaikum.